Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Sunday's edition of the DCEU Daily. Fans have the right to have stuff to be excited about. If you're making entertainment and you're making movies, you need to gauge the consumer's excitement and hype levels. And as we can see right now with Top Gun Maverick, that's happening. And The Rock is an actor-producer after my own heart. Very similar to Tom Cruise, because when these guys, star in and produce a movie, they make sure it's the very best it can be, depending on what they're making, of course. Black Adam is The Rock's life work. He's a huge Black Adam fan, and he fucking loves DC. He isn't a Marvel fanboy, he's a DC fanboy. So he put everything into making Black Adam. And I feel this is why so many people are actually excited about this movie, rather than being excited about the Flash movie or even Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, who right now have big issues and concerns around them. Black Adam has no issues or concerns. It's probably one of the only DCEU movies with so much hype and excitement around it, because we know this is going to be something new, something exciting. Obviously, the most exciting thing is to see The Rock as Black Adam, but also we're going to get the Justice Society of America. And, to be able to see, a cinematic Dr. Fate and Hawkman and all these different characters is very, very exciting. And I think this is why this movie is going to be so hyped up. And it will be interesting what kind of views this trailer on June the 8th actually gets. It should be pretty high. I don't expect it to break the records the Marvel Cinematic Universe does, but at the very least, it should get a lot of hype around it. And I think this is going to be an amazing movie. We've already had a sneak peek back at DC Fandom last year, and the scene looks amazing. These people have broken into this cave. They say the name Shazam and they touch the symbols, and then he comes to life and he kills a bunch of soldiers. It's freaking awesome. And obviously I can only judge this movie on what I've seen thus far, and this sneak peek is the only thing I've ever seen. And I think this film is going to be amazing. So I'm very, very excited for it. It'll be interesting how they set up the JSA. Many questions I've been asked by you guys and so many people is, where is this film set? In the past, in the modern day? How do the JSA get involved in this movie? Well, of course, we know there's such a thing as a Legion ring, which means it helps you jump from time to time. So you can time travel with the Legion ring. So if they are comic book accurate and they're from maybe the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, or whatever, maybe they're using the Legion ring. Or maybe they're just a modern day JSA. I believe we will get flashbacks to the past, to Black Adam's past. Maybe the JSA are in the flashback sequences. I doubt it. And I think that will be slightly underwhelming and disappointing. For some reason, they're able to be in this modern era, and setting them up is very interesting in the future of the DCEU, if it does have a future. It's interesting, really, and this is why it's a shame that the Hamadaverse is under so much pressure right now. I do think Hamada did have some interesting ideas, like the multiverse strategy. Originally, I was very excited for it, and it would have been a very exciting franchise. I can't see how we go forward with that now, especially with the Flash movie being in so much trouble. And so we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I do like this element of the JSA being in Black Adam. And I think that's going to be kind of interesting, how they set them up and where they appear again. I don't want the JSA to be in a HBO Max spin-off. I want the JSA to get their own movie because the JSA are one of the most popular elements of DC Comics. There's no question about that. So obviously The Rock and his people and Hamada were very clever about inserting the JSA in this movie. But of course, this is a Black Adam's movie. This is about him breaking the chains of slavery and empowering himself and seeing other people being empowered as well. And I'm really looking forward to that element. And I think that this is kind of a statement that The Rock wanted to make within this Black Adam movie. And I think that's very, very important. These issues are always important, but the commentary only works if you execute it in the right way and you're not talking down to your audience, either via the marketing or, more importantly, via the movie's narrative. So I think we are going to get some great action in this movie. And as I say, I think The Rock is very similar to Tom Cruise in the way where when they make a movie, they put everything into it. And this is why I think it's going to be such an awesome, epic movie. And I think all of you, I think if you're all honest, you're more hyped about this movie than you are for The Flash or Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom or even Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods will be a great movie for kids and families to go and see. And I think because of that element, around the time of year it's released, it does have a chance, a small chance, at least for breaking even, because it's going to be released 5 days after the Avatar sequel, as I keep on saying. So they seem to be confident about it to have it at this date. So we'll see how it does. But for me, my most anticipated DC movie is Black Adam because it's got everything that should, excite a geek and a nerd. Iconic DC characters. But, Black Adam has been about 10, 15 years in the making. And, The Rock has been fighting for years to get this role. He did get the role. He produced this movie via his production company as well. So he's been in total control of the making of this movie. So I do expect it to be a very, very satisfying movie. And I mean, anyone who casts Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate knows what they're doing. And that should be a very important element as well, if that works. Because, again, Dr. Fate and Hawkman are such brilliant characters. And I think that Smallville captured those two characters so well in the movie event, Absolute Justice. You saw the bond between Dr. Fate and Hawkman in that movie event. And I think they need to do this again because it's very, very important. And we'll see how they do with that and how faithful they are to the comics. Of course, The Rock has already said that he's a bit upset that some DC movies, recent movies, haven't been faithful to the comic book. So he's a real DC Comics nerd. So I believe he's been as comic book accurate as possible. Yeah, the director, which I don't know much about, but I know he's worked with The Rock before. So that's good enough for me as well. But just seeing what we saw in that sneak peek was enough for me to kind of, say, yeah, this is a thing that's really going to work, that really excites me. I'm going to sit in the cinema for 2.5 hours, and I'm going to get a lot out of it. And now let's move on to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. What could be done with a movie with an actress that's going to be boycotted because of said actress? If it was me, I would remove her. I would rewrite and reshoot the movie. They can stick to what they wanted to do in the first place, recast Mira, give her a proper role in the movie. I know it would be frustrating, but I just don't feel comfortable about, and I've said this to you lot before, I don't feel comfortable about Mira getting under 10 minutes in a movie played by someone none of us want to see play that role. And as we already know, people aren't going to go and watch this movie if she remains in it. It doesn't matter if she wins the case against Johnny Depp or if Johnny Depp wins the case against her. It's all irrelevant. What's relevant right now is that we release an Aquaman movie where what people are willing to go and see. Right now, nobody's willing to go and see that movie. You've got that beautiful hype I've just been discussing with Black Adam. and you want that hype because the first Aquaman movie was sensational. And I'm making a huge assumption here that this sequel is amazing. But regrettably, they made a bad decision by not having the cojones to replace Amber Heard. They must do it, rewrite and reshoot the movie, and give her lots more to do. This has been the DCEU Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection, and I'll see you again in the next video. Until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.